Hakadosh Boker or Bekiim Bahalacha day 6. On the top, it's Halacha Tedvav. Yeah? Okay. So it's something like this. If someone stays up until after the Lachek midnight, so to minute, you were up until after Chatzot Laila. Right? Last night, Chatzot Laila, 12:24. Yeah? Now, he should not recite the morning blessings and then go to sleep. So don't do Birkot Hashachar and then go to sleep. It just doesn't make sense. Right? It doesn't, right? Instead of that, go to sleep and you do it when you wake up the next day. This is a common custom. Likewise, if someone remains awake throughout the entire night, it is best that he waits to recite the Birkot Hashachar until after dawn. And this was explained fully in the Yalkut Yosef, Hashkamat Boker, Siman 4, and the footnote over there, which means Takshov Shata Er Kol Halayla Belel Shavuot, right? Or Belel Hoshana Rabbah, the night of Shavuot, Hoshana Rabbah. Don't do Birkot Hashachar miyad acharei Chatzot. No, wait until the morning. In the morning, dawn, Amud Hashachar, Achshav Tevarech Birkot Hashachar.
You say it's better, no?
Yes, that's the best.
So it's not.
Well, again, it's best. Best to do
Zubachot after the
after dawn, after Alot Hashachar.
so it's not in
Not on Chatzot.
But if you wake up at night and you want to learn at night,
And you're
you do
staying
Birkat
up.
Torah, and you're staying up.
Yeah. So then yes, then
You
right
do
away.
all the brachot or you do only Birkat Torah?
Which one?
All of them.
All brachot you do or only Birkat Torah?
When you woke up at what time? Though?
When you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, for
Right.
example, and you want to learn. So you have
No.
to
So
do
if you wake up, so now you're going to stay up, then you could do it. Oh, we're going to do the next halacha, waking up after midnight.
Mhm.
If someone gets up from bed shortly after halachic midnight and he plans to remain awake for the rest of the night, he may recite all the morning blessings at that time, including Anoten Lasechvi Bina. It is not right. It is not possible for anyone to recite the morning blessings before the halachic midnight. However, even if he slept for several hours of the evening in his bed, which means this is what his question was. You woke up at 3 o'clock. You could do it right then and there, no problem. Okay? Kamta b'shalosh b'lifno boker, tevarech achshav. But what happens if I fell asleep at
after.
6 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
6 o'clock in the afternoon,
And you wake up what time?
right? I woke up 12 o'clock at night,
Before.
before midnight, before Chatzot.
אם אתה צריך ברכות
And
השחר,
now
You have to do.
I'm going to stay up the rest of the night.
You have to do Arvit
no,
also.
so you need to wait until
Yeah.
עלות השחר.
No, but you cannot say Birkot Hashachar before Chatzot for sure. Meaning, before the Chatzot, it doesn't exist doing the Birkot Hashachar. It has to be after Chatzot, right? But as long as I'm going to stay up the rest of the time, I could already do it. So if I woke up at 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock, but now that I'm going to go to sleep again, we're talking about that, I'm staying up, as long as I'm staying up, okay? So then, what? Yeah?
So what's the question?
No.
You go to
So
sleep
that's
at 6 o'clock.
If you go to sleep at 6 o'clock and you wake up at 12, even though you're going to stay up for the rest of the day, like the rest of the night, basically, and that's it, you're not allowed to do Birkot Hashachar then at 12 o'clock.
Before,
You have to wait after Chatzot, minimum. After Chatzot, minimum.
but the
Okay.
best is to do before עלות השחר.
Alot Hashachar, when again, if you're up the entire night.
Yeah.
No, but you could already do it already when you wake up at 3 o'clock.
Oh,
Because
Chatzot.
12
Yeah.
But the best is if you know.
Halacha Yud Zayin, right? 17. Men and women are equally obligated to all the Birkot Hashachar. The only exception is going to be that men say the bracha Shelo Asani Isha, and women, they just say Shasani B'Kitzono, which they recite, right, without the Shem Malchut. So they just say Baruch Shasani Kitzono. Okay? It is imperative that the teachers and educators in our Sephardic girls' schools teach their students that they must not pronounce Hashem's name when reciting the bracha Shasani Kitzono, since they would then be possibly guilty of making a bracha levatala. So very, very important. Okay? Huh? Yeah, let's see in the footnote number 7. Shulchan Aruch. Okay, Shulchan Aruch ruled that women must recite the Birkot Hashachar, the bracha Shasani Kitzono instead of Shelo Asani Isha, implying that women otherwise are equally obligated in everything else. Okay, the earliest source for this is the Shut Geonim. Sharet Tshuva, cited in the Halacha Brura. This halacha, however, seems to contradict the general rule that women are exempt from those mitzvot, right, which are Zman Grama. So therefore, as we already explained above, there are some poskim that say it's until first 4 hours of the day. Others come and they say until Chatzot, but others say that it's full day. So Mishnah Berurah noted that women are exempt from reciting these berachot for this reason. That means, one more time, according to Mishnah Berurah, women are pturot from Birkot Hashachar. Why? Zman Grama. You have until the 4th hour into the day, until Chatzot.
You can say
Yeah.
Birkot Hashachar all day.
That was the final psak, but there's a machloket. Yeah? So he says, for this reason, he ruled that women may recite them anyway if they wish to do so, because they're allowed to. This is based upon Rabbeinu Tam, the women are allowed to make bracha and shazman grama. But Maran Rishon LeZion said, no, according to Shulchan Aruch and the Rambam, you're not allowed to. The Or LeZion wanted to distinguish between the brachot over mitzvot and brachot of shevach vehodah. Listen to this chidush. Did you listen? One more time. There's a difference between birkot mitzvot and birkot shevach vehodah. Women may not recite brachot over the mitzvot because they cannot say v'tzivanu because they weren't commanded. But birkot hashachar, which is basically, right, we don't say v'tzivanu, and it's just shevach vehodah, a woman may obligate herself to say a bracha even if she's not commanded. And the author claimed that Rav Ezra Tia agreed with this as well. You understood? One more time. Birkat mitzvot women cannot do if they're not obligated to. Why? They can't say v'tzivanu. Selo nachon. Right? That's the shita of the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch. But, says Rav Ben Zion, if it's birkat shevach ve'odah, thanking Hashem, praising Hashem, mutar lahem levarech, even if they're not obligated. Why? Because you're just thanking Hashem. There's no problem. And that's what Rav Ben Zion said. Rav Ezrati agreed. Maran and Rishon and Zion ruled that this distinction cannot be applied in practice. He ruled that women may not recite any beracha, even if it does not include v'tzivan. But in Yechavedan, Maran explained that women are obligated for a different reason. He demonstrated that we cannot consider this obligation to be considered as zman grama, right? Because many achronim hold that you have all day to say them. There's no limit. For example, right, the Galmi Vina, if you remember, Mama Mordechai, you're allowed to say it all day, right? So therefore, even though the Rav Pe'alim deduced from the words of the Rizal HaKadosh that it could only be said until sunset, it is clear from the Machzor Vitri, the Rabbeinu Asher, and others, you could do it even daytime or nighttime. So based on this, the Rishon LeZion says, women and men are the exact same. So to menet, אם אתה יכול לעשות, בדיוק, אם אתה יכול לעשות זה כל היום, you could do the entire day, entire night, ברכות השחר, so then why not? So it's not זמן גרמה. Rav Moshe Levi pointed out that this argument seems faulty. So Moshe Levi argued on the Rishon LeZion. And since the Ben Ishchai ruled that if someone failed to say them until sunset, he may not say them afterwards. And if someone went to sleep in the evening and woke up before midnight, he could not say the blessings until after midnight. So this is actually supported by the Zohar and the Kabbalists and everything. So he says, so therefore we must consider that it is going to be time limited. The Yalkut Yosef offered an answer, and he answers Rav Moshe Levi. Remember, Rav Moshe Levi is the one of the Matava, Birkat Hashem, the Tunisian, right? So Rav Moshe Levi. So Rav Moshe Lewi, yeah? So Rav Moshe Lewi, he comes and he says this, yeah? Yes, yeah? So he says, right? The Yalkut Yosef offered an answer. That the fact that we do not permit people to say the berachot after sunset is not a limitation, but only based upon Kabbalistic reasons. So if so, the halacha places no limit on it. Because it's only a Kabbalah. Answer is weak, but since one could argue that since according to Kabbalah, it's not permissible, so it is, so okay. And it needs more research. Meaning it's not that simple. Meaning that they wanted to answer, you didn't like it. Okay, this is Rav Bitan speaking against the Yalkut Yosef, saying that it's not the best answer. It's Bekitzu. Right? So basically what's coming out is that there's a huge machloket achronim until when are you allowed to do Birkot HaShachar? Since we said that Rav Ovadia wanted to pass and you're allowed to do it all day, fine, but L'chatchila tried to do it before the 4th hour, if not Chatzot, and v'chule. And therefore he's coming and saying, so women are obligated or not. So Rav Ovadia said women are obligated. Mishnah Berurah says not obligated. There's a big difference. Rav Ben Zion says they're obligated. מה? לא קשור. קודם כל ברכות השחר אין וציוונו.
לא, ברכות התורה.
ברכות התורה זה משהו אחר, זה ברכות השחר, לא ברכות התורה. ברכות התורה זה משהו אחר לגמרי.
אנשים אומרות אבל
Yeah, and it's a completely different ברכה. It's not, we're in ברכות השחר, לא ברכות התורה.
כן, הבנתי.
women do ברכת התורה?
Of course they do. But they're obligated in the Torah that they don't.
שציוונו חוץ מנטילת ידיים.
No, כל המצוות. על נטילת לולב.
אתה לא מדבר על ברכות השחר.
No, any ברכה, שבציוונו הם לא יכולות להגיד. אומר המשנה ברורה, אבל אם הם רוצות, כן יכולות להגיד. למה? בגלל הרמה. The Rama says that they're allowed to come and obligate themselves and make a ברכה on something which they don't have. They're allowed to.
לגבי האנשים,
Yes.
למה אסור להם שם השם שעשני כרצונו?
עוד פעם?
למה אסור להם להזכיר את שם השם ושעשני כרצונו?
למי? לספרדים.
לנשים.
לנשים, בגלל זה מה שאמרנו. אם עכשיו, if you're going to tell me that you're not allowed to say the bracha, right? Meaning that the bracha is done without
לא,
Shem.
רק באלה שעשני כרצונו, נכון?
Yeah, רק השעצני.
נו, למה?
בגלל זה מה שאמרנו, שזה אסור. אסור להגיד עם שם.
למה? מה העניין? למה
בגלל...
דווקא בברכה הזו?
Because he says that only in this case is the case of that or first of all, we spoke about are they obligated bichlal or not.
כן.
So now that
אבל
we
בוא
come
נגיד,
and say...
אנחנו סוברים שכן. למה דווקא בזה לא? מכל הברכות. So you can...
Number 18, Yudchet. Lecha Techila, if it's all at all possible, one must recite the morning blessings before Shachrit. Their proper place is always before Shachrit. As soon as one gets stressed, right, when it gets up and gets ready, one should not postpone it until after Shachrit. Look in the footnote. Shlomo Zalman Auerbach ruled that no matter how late someone arrives to the synagogue, he must recite all the berachot of Birkot Hashachar. This is necessary even if he will force to skip Pesukei de Zimna in order to make up the tefillah b'tzibur. He add that although it appears from the Chaye Adam that it's permissible to postpone the berachot until afterwards, says it's not the proper halacha to do so. The Rishon LeZion, however, disagreed with Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. He said if someone arrives late to the synagogue, he should skip the Birkot Hashachar, other than Elokai Neshama and Birkat Torah, so that he will be able to say all of Pesukei Zimna and still pray. This is also the opinion of Chaim Kanievsky. So Chaim Kanievsky and Rav Ovadia. One second. Nevertheless, according to both schools of thought, it's important whenever possible, obviously, to say before. Meaning, according to everybody, lechatchila, do it before. The only question is, if you came late, and now what are you going to do? You understand? And it's so important. You don't understand. Like, we're talking about the importance of understanding the concept of tif. So we have a sikum. The person gets late to the Bet Knesset. According to Rav Ovadia and the Rav Chaim Kanievsky, you skip out Birkot Hashachar, other than Elokai Neshama and Birkat Torah. Because remember, Elokai Neshama, when you say Mechayah Metim of Amidah, you can't say that beracha anymore. And the beracha of Avat Olam and the berachot of Kriyat Shema, if you say that, then you can't do Birkat Torah afterwards. So because of that, those two you always have to say, but other than those two, you skip them out and then you continue with Pesukei Zimna. According to Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, no. Next one, halacha, it's the same halacha. If someone forgot to say the berachot in the morning and the berachot of mitzvah, Torah study, until after he did shachrit, he may no longer recite the berachot Torah that day. He already fulfilled the beracha by saying the blessings of Avat Olam Atanu, and more than that, Elokai Neshama. He already why when he did Mechayah Metim and Amidah, he must recite all the other blessings as soon as he remembers that he skipped them out. Okay, these rules apply to also someone who arrived late to the synagogue and needed to skip all the morning's berachot. Also the same thing in order to catch up. So number 9, Pri Chadash. He says rule that by reciting the blessings of Mechayah Metim and Amidah, we automatically fulfill the obligation of doing Elokai Neshama. The Rishon LeZion in the response said that although the words appear to be similar, the concept of each blessing is completely different. The blessing of Elokai Neshama is that he returned our Neshama. The Berachah Mechayah Metim is on Tchiyat HaMetim. So what is the connection? Serapala Memshos. It's the law to the vad. He says Mechayah HaMetim is al Atid, is on the Tchiyat HaMetim of L'Atid Lavo. Elokai Neshama is on last night, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us back the Neshama. So if it's not the same Mechayah Metim, it's, אבל זה מה שהוא אומר. אז אומר רב עובדיה, despite this, since our sages taught that when a person is asleep, there are 1/60th of death, so automatically it includes the Mechayah Metim that we actually came up again, and therefore that's why he says. So that's why the Mamar Mordechai disagreed with this ruling of the Pri Chadash, and he insisted, no, that you're still obligated to say it, but we do safek berachot laker.
אז מה אתה עושה בעצם? מי הנותן לסרבי בינה עד לבן שאינו ברית, בן שברית ובן שאינו ברית?
כן, בדיוק. Okay? Fine. Postponing of the blessing of Asher Yatzar. Sorry, I have one more. What happens about saying the bracha of Matir Asurim after Amidah? Why? Matir Asurim, because you already said in Amidah as well. Baruch HaShulchan added that according to the Brit Chadash, if someone already said the brachot, that means they skipped out the brachot, he cannot do Matir Asurim either. Because when you say Matir Asurim in Amidah, just like you said Mechayah Metim in Amidah, say Matir Asurim. Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayah Metim Rachamim, Ramim Somech Noflim Rofech Cholim, Matir Asurim. So don't do the bracha, Matir Asurim. Maran and Rishon LeZion disagree with this, and he said that the Pri Chadash was only with regard to Elokai Neshama. This is because the intent of the bracha is determined by its ending, which is Mechayah Metim. the fact that we mentioned in the middle some Matir Asurim is nothing, meaning the Yikar
זה לא
bracha,
הברכה,
the Yikar bracha is Mechayim Metim. It's not the Matir Asurim. So therefore, even though you mentioned Derech Agav, you said Matir Asurim, ze klum. The Emet bracha concur with the ruling of the Ruch HaShulchan, and he said that since the first two blessings of the Amidah are connected, the openings Baruch Atah apply to the text of the second blessing as well. And therefore, it is as if the person said Matir Asurim also. The Rishon LeZion said, according to that reasoning, the second of the bracha of the Amidah is in itself a series of blessings. One for Rofeh Cholim, Somech Nofelim, and so on. Now we know that the poskim didn't say that in the end. You have to do 100 brachot. Now, 1 second. So if you're going to say that, so count each one of them as a bracha then. It's not a blessing for his other deeds of kindness. You understand? Meaning, if you're going to tell me now that no, shekol echad ze bracha b'fnei atzmo, az ata asita bracha achad b'shvil Rofeh Cholim. Right? But he said, mechalkel chayim b'chesed, mechayim etim, berachamim rabim, somech nofelim. Right? Rofeh Cholim, Matira, kol echad ze bracha, ze lo bracha. It's not a bracha. So therefore, that's what Rav Ovadia said. Fine, next. If someone relieved himself, right, just before reciting the Shachri prayers and did not recite the blessing of Asher Yatzar, he could still do it as long as 72 minutes did not pass. If he feels the urge to relieve himself again, he can't make the bracha even though there's no 72 minutes. Right? Obviously, do it miyad, immediately. But if you forgot, you can't do it, Asher Yatzar. Okay? Fine, next. Asher Yatzar.
If he forgot after 72 minutes, can he do it? Can he do it? That's only after 72 minutes, can he do it without the Shem Hashem?
You could do any bracha without Hashem Hashem, but it's not Asher Yatzar.
No, I'm sorry. Can you do it with the Shem Hashem after 72 minutes? No.
Yeah.
So it's better to do without. It's better to do without the Shem Hashem than with.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to do it with the Shem Hashem. That's it. 72 minutes, 72 minutes. But that's in the Hilchot of Asher Yatzar.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you're right.
No,
Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Let's see in the bottom. Asher Yatzar after Amidah. Can you say Asher Yatzar after Amidah or not? He says, the response of Bnei Levi deduced from the Prim B'Chadash that if someone needed to recite the blessings of Asher Yatzar and didn't do so until after the Amidah, he can no longer do it. Why? Because you have it in Rifayenu. In Rifayenu Hashem in Nerafeh. It's like a refuah. That's Hashem. Patar et Asher Yatzar. So he says, but the Rishon LeZion said no. No. There's a Sefer Bnei Levi. The Rishon LeZion said no. Why? He says, Refaenu cannot substitute the Asher Yatzar since they have two different content. The blessing of Refaenu is in general somebody that's sick to become healed. He says Asher Yatzar is thanking Hashem for every single time we go to the washroom. So it's Tzvei Dinim. You know what that means? Shtei halachot shonot. Okay? Fine. The last halacha, if someone arrives late to the synagogue and sees that in order to pray Amidah, he will need to skip the morning blessings, he should nevertheless say Asher Yatzar, Elokai Neshama, Birkat Torah, and then continue with Tefillah. And after Shachrit, he does everything else. So that's halacha l'maaseh. Shamata, halacha l'maaseh. You came late to the Tefillah. Right? I know it will never happen, but just in case, just in case.
Not talking, he's always late.
Yeah, just in case it will ever happen. Again, one more time. Elokai Neshama, Asher Yatzar, Elokai Neshama, and Asher Yatzar, Elokai Neshama, Birkat Torah. And then all the rest of it.
לא?